Hey guys, so it has been a while. um, yeah, I've been pretty unmotivated to do anything lately. Um, Even reading. So yeah, normally at the end of the month or at the beginning of the next month, I would talk about the books that I read, and at the beginning of the month, I would do a TBR for the books that I plan on reading for that month. But I haven't done that since May, so I have not talked to you guys about the books that I read in May. So that's what this video is. So the first book that I read in May was called A Street Cat Named Bob by James Bowen. That one was a recommendation that my boss gave me, so that was my recommended book of the month. So I did that one, and I liked it so much that I read the sequel to it, which is called The World According to Bob. So basically, what this book is about, it is a guy. I know that when I talked about it at first, I said that I thought he was homeless. He wasn't homeless, but he was going through a program to get himself clean from drugs. And that program helped him get an apartment. But this is the true story of how James Bowen found Bob, his cat, and how Bob kind of changed his life. So I actually have some footage that I recorded while I was reading the book. So I'm going to put that right here. Hey guys, so it is not quite even May yet, and I really want to start reading my May books. It's the 30th of April, so it's not really that, it's not that far away, you know. May starts in a few hours. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and start reading. I actually went ahead and grabbed A Street Cat Named Bob yesterday. I read a couple of chapters last night, and I have already read a couple of chapters today on my lunch break, and I want to keep reading. So I'm gonna go ahead, even though it's, you know, not May yet, and I'm gonna go ahead and start reading this one. So I can't help myself. It's really cute so far. Basically, James, the guy who wrote the book, came home one night, and when he was about to walk up to his apartment, he saw a cat just kind of sitting in front of somebody's door, and it looked like it had been in a fight or something, and it kind of, some of its fur was missing and stuff, and it didn't look so good. But he went up to it and he pet it and everything, and he kept seeing it there, and he finally knocked on the door like a couple of days later to ask the person who lived there if it was their cat, and it wasn't. So he went ahead and took it up to his apartment, and the cat has basically just moved in with him, and he thinks that it's just a street cat, and then it got into a fight or something like that, and he took it to the vet, and he basically spent all of the money that he had on the vet bill to get some antibiotics and stuff like that, and some food for the cat. And the last, where I left off, he had gone and taken it to be neutered also, but he got it neutered for free. And then he's trying to see if the cat will like just go on its merry little way, because he's not sure if he can actually take care of the cat, because he's kind of going through like rehab right now. And so he's the cat doesn't seem to want to leave, so he's got his new cat Bob, and I'm gonna read it and see what happens next. So, I fell asleep. I was tired apparently. But man, I'm really enjoying this so far. So he has started, well, the cat has started, Bob has started going out with James to the street corners and stuff to while he does his busking, and he's actually earning more money now because he has the cat. So he noticed, like, the first day that it happened, that people were like, "Oh, that's cat so cute. Look at it curled up in that guitar case." And so they like tossed him money and everything. And then by the end of the day, he had earned like 3 times what he would normally have earned. So yeah, he was able to go out and buy like a better meal for himself and for the cat. And after a couple of days of that, he's getting more money, so he's like bought a harness for the cat. And he realized like there was one day when the cat didn't want to go with him. So Bob kind of stayed home, and he went off without him, and he realized people are, really like the cat, because he would see people who had seen him before with Bob, and they're asking, oh, how's Bob, how's the cat, where's the cat, and he's like, oh, he had a day off, and he's realizing that before he had Bob with him, that people looked at him differently, and they kind of looked at him like, even though he's not homeless, they would basically look at him like he was homeless and like he was begging and everything. And now they kind of treat him more like an actual person. So it's kind of sad. Anyway, he says that people look at him in a different light now because people know how like picky cats are when it comes to like their owners and stuff, and if they don't like their owner, they can just up and leave. And so he says, seeing me with my cat softened me in their eyes. It humanized me, especially after I had been so dehumanized. In some ways, it was giving me back my identity. I had become a non-person. I was becoming a person again. I like this one a lot so far. It's really good, even though I was so tired that I just had a nap before I could finish that chapter. But I'm up to chapter 7 now. I'm about to start it. And I'm going to eat and stuff. But yeah, I really like this one. This one's really cute. So I'm waiting because I've seen pictures of this cat, and this cat wears scarves and stuff, and I'm waiting for this cat to get a scarf. Oh, and I forgot to say that at one point he's out playing his guitar with the cat and everything, and he's talking about like the songs that he's playing, and he's playing like Johnny Cash, and he's playing gosh, what else was it? There was some like Nirvana song, I can't remember which one. And then he said that the one that he plays the most is Wonderwall. It made me laugh because that's the one that people always make fun of, that's what people on the streets and stuff playing guitar are usually playing Wonderwall. And it also made me think of Charlie from Lost, because at one point there's an episode where he's outside playing, and he's playing Wonderwall. So thanks air conditioner. But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. It made me laugh.
It was really cute. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed both of the books. They were pretty quick reads. And there is a movie actually that is kind of based on both of the books together, and it is called A Street Cat Named Bob, and you can actually watch it on YouTube for free. So I watched the movie also. There were some differences because they give him like a love interest in, not Bob. They give James a love interest in the movie, but overall it was pretty cute and I enjoyed it. But of course the books were better. And in the movie, Bob is one of the cats that plays Bob, so that was pretty cool. He got to play himself in his own movie. Alright, so the next book that I read is called When We Were Vikings. It is by Andrew David MacDonald. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like this one, but I'm having a hard time putting into words why I didn't like it. So, the book is about Zelda, who's a 21-year-old who was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. She's really into Vikings and Viking culture, and she wants to become a Viking legend. So that's, like, there's a lot of her inner thoughts talking about Vikings and everything. That was fine. I didn't mind the main character. She lives with her older brother Gert, who is supposed to be going to college to get a business degree, but we find out that he's been lying to Zelda, and he has dropped out of college, and he's gotten himself involved with drug dealers, which is not good. Anyway, Gert tries to keep Zelda out of the whole drug dealing thing, but she ends up getting pulled into it anyway. This book is really hard to talk about. Anyway, one of the things that I didn't like about it is, okay, so I had mentioned that Zelda is born with fetal alcohol syndrome, but instead of looking like other people who are born that way, she looks normal. There are a lot of instances where guys see her, and they talk about how hot she is, and it's really weird. Because she's 21, but, she doesn't have the mind of a 21-year-old, so it's kind of icky. Didn't like that. Also, there's a lot of use of the R word, which is not cool. So, yeah. And Zelda actually uses it to refer to herself that way, and her friends who go to the community center with her, so it's like other people who are, I don't know the correct word to say it, developmentally challenged. If I say the wrong terms, I'm sorry, I just don't know exactly how to talk about this. Anyway, so, yeah, there are some people there are other people there with fetal alcohol syndrome. There are other people who have, like, Down syndrome, stuff like that. and it's like a program that they have at the community center. And she also calls them the R word, and it's like, she says it's her way of taking the word back, which I can kind of get, but it's said so much that I feel like it's just the author's way of saying, oh, I can say this word now because Zelda's saying it, and that didn't sit well with me, so I didn't like that. It was a really hard book to get through, I'm gonna say that. Her brother did not like him. He was, didn't like him at all. He was an interesting character, and he was supposed to be kind of an unlikable character, so I can get that. And his girlfriend slash ex-girlfriend, they kind of go back and forth throughout the book. I liked her. So yeah, she was okay, but their relationship was completely toxic. So yeah, if you're uncomfortable with like domestic violence, excessive profanity, because oh my god, I almost had to put it down because there was just so much. Use of the R word, of course. Attempted rape, violence, probably not the book for you. There were a couple of good things about it. There was a lot of stuff about Zelda gaining her independence, and as she did that, it kind of motivated some of her friends to also try to have their own independence, which was really nice. I liked that a lot. But that was probably the best part about it. And there was also one thing that she would do all the time that bothered me. She would dab all the time. And it's not the same kind of dabbing that I think of, because I think of dabbing, I think of, all these little kids dab, very annoying. So every time I would see that, I would just imagine the characters doing that. But what they really meant was fist bumping. And they wouldn't say fist bumping, though. They would call it dabbing. And I actually looked this up, and it's not supposed to be called dabbing. It's supposed to be called dapping if you're going to fist bump something. But whatever. Could have done some research. All I had to do was Google it. Just saying. But I don't know, maybe wherever the author is from, that's the way they say it. But it just pulled me out of the book every time, and that was like one of her favorite things to do. If she saw somebody in her tribe, because Vikings, she would dab, and I was like, I can't unsee all these people just walking around dabbing everywhere. So that pulled me out of it. But anyway, yeah, I can't say that I like this one. Also, in the middle of the month, I realized that I had missed something called the Stay-at-Home Reading Rush in April, so I decided that I was going to just throw it in May, because why not? I was already reading stuff, so I decided to just throw that in the middle of May. So here's some stuff from that, where I talk about all that and what I was reading during that time. So there's this thing called the Reading Rush, and I just found out about it. It used to be called Booktubeathon, which I don't consider myself a booktuber, even though I've been making a bunch of book videos lately. But yeah, it's called Reading Rush, and basically you have a week to read as much as you can, and they have different like prompts, kind of. And I thought that I might give that a try. They just did one in April. I'm looking at the website right now, and it was called the Stay Home Challenge. And I missed it because I didn't realize that they did it until May, and so I'm like, well, missed that one, cool. So yeah, I've got it in front of me right now, but it was the Stay Home Reading Rush. It was like mid-April, and it was only 3 days, it looks like. So yeah, one of them was, there are 4 prompts for you. There was read a book with a house on the cover, read a book in the same room the whole time, read a book set somewhere you wish you could go, and read a book that will make you smile. And the way they do it, you can read like one book if it covers like all of those, or you can do like 2 books or whatever. Now that I see that it's not as many days as I thought, I was gonna start it today, which I do still have time. I was gonna start it today and try to go like a week, but since it's not a week, it's only 4 days. I guess I could still do that because that would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I could just finish it on Saturday, which would be fine because that would give me all day Saturday to read if I wanted to. I thought I would do this while I was trying to read my books for May, and I thought that I would do the Agatha Christie book that I have for this month, which is, I hate trying to say Poirot's name, but it's Hercule Poirot, the Christmas book, let's just put it that way. I may just start calling it like Holiday for Murder or whatever the other titles are. Yeah, so I thought I might do that one for it because it would cover the read a book with a house on the cover,
because it has a house on the cover. And it would also cover the read a book set somewhere you wish you could go, because it's set in England and I would love to go to England sometime. So I thought I might do that one for that. And also there's a sequel to A Street Cat Named Bob that is called The World According to Bob, The Further Adventures of One Man and His Streetwise Cat. So I thought I might want to do that one also. So I thought I would do that one because that would cover read a book that will make you smile, because I'm sure it would. And also I figure I could probably read that one in the same room the whole time, because A Street Cat Named Bob, I read the whole thing in this room right here. And it's not like I have that many rooms to read in anyway, so I could just read it in my living room. And then if I wanted to read another book, I could read it in the bedroom, a different one. So I thought that I might do that. So I thought that I would try reading those 2 books for the for the challenge, even though it is an April challenge. But that means I could knock out that book, and I want to read the sequel to A Street Cat Named Bob, since I've already read the first one, and it should be pretty short. So yeah, I could read both of those. And then of course I can work on the other books that I need to read for the month. Anyway, I guess that's it for this update. I will try to update throughout the reading rush that I'm throwing in here in the middle of my other thing. But I mean, like I said, it's one of the books that is already on the list, and then another one that kind of goes with one of them that I have already done. So I may end up having, instead of 6 books, 7 books this month, which is okay. All right, so it is the last day of the reading rush, and I have not updated anything. Why? Because I haven't really read a lot. Yeah, I started reading on Wednesday, because that was the day that I was going to start. And I got 2 chapters in to the first book, The World According to Bob. That was all I really had time for that night. I got tired, and yeah. So 2 chapters into it. Wow, that was a lot. So yeah, didn't do a lot of reading the first day. The second day I read 4 chapters of the Bob book, and I read 1 chapter of the Agatha Christie book, which is not very much. Yeah, because on Thursdays I stream after work, and I can't read while I'm at work, and I can't read while I stream, so I had like a little teeny tiny bit of time in between those, and then sometime after I streamed, because I read some before I went to bed. Yeah, so didn't do so well there. And then yesterday I read 4 chapters, I think, of the Bob book, and I didn't even pick up the Christie book. So yeah, didn't get much done. But I've just finished the Bob book. I've already turned it back in and everything, so that one is no longer on my Kindle and or on my account. And now I just have to do the Agatha Christie book. But it is a little after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I really don't want to just read all day. So I doubt that I'm going to finish this. This book is it is divided into 7 sections, and I've read 1 section. So yeah, doing great. Yeah, I've already kind of failed at one of the challenges that I was trying to do, because one of them was to read a book all within the same room. And what did I do last night before I went to bed? I was like, well, I'm just gonna finish this chapter because I didn't get to finish it earlier in the Bob book, and I read it in my bed. I put my Kindle down and thought about it, and I was like, oh, I was only supposed to read this in the living room. So yeah, I read the rest of it here on my couch, but not that one. Like, it was probably 10 pages or something like that. So kind of messed that one up. And of course I could just remedy that by reading the Agatha Christie book in whatever room I started it in. But I really don't want to just read this one in my bedroom, because I started it before I went to bed one night, and I don't want to just lay in my bed all day. So yeah, that one's probably not going to get done, which I'm probably not going to get done with this whole thing anyway. So, but I think I've finished like 2 of the prompts, because I read one book that would make me smile, which was the Bob book, and I did finish it, and it did make me smile. It was really cute. Also, since both of the books that I picked are set in England, the Bob book is actually set in London, and that's where I would want to go if I went to England. Since both of the books that I picked are set in England, that works for a place that I would want to go someday. So there we go. So that leaves the other 2 prompts, which were, of course, the read one all in the same room, which I kind of failed at, and read one with a house on the cover, which is the Agatha Christie book that I'm still going to work on. I mean, it was one that I was going to read this month anyway. So, yeah. I did say, I was telling Mark about this, and I told him that,
Technically, I started it a little bit late. I started it late in the day on Wednesday, so I could go till tomorrow, but he said that was cheating, so whatever. Reading Rush did not go so well, but I did read all of one book and I have started on this other one, so I mean, I have done some kind of progress at least. Who knows? Maybe I can actually finish it. That would be neat. So yeah, I guess that is it for now. I will update you once the Reading Rush is over and let you know how far I got into it and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit before I take my dog out to walk, because he's gonna be wanting to go walk soon.
Okay, sorry if my air conditioner is loud, but it's 70 degrees in here, and I would like it to be cooler than that. So I don't want to have to turn it off just to make this little thing here, but... So I'm reading this, and it made me laugh because he has gathered all of his children into the room with him. He's talking to the lawyer on the phone, and he's like, I want you to make a new will for me. And he says, don't worry about it. I don't want, it's no hurry. It's no hurry. Don't want you to spoil your Christmas. Say Boxing Day or the day after. Come along and I'll tell you what I want done. No, that's quite all right. I shan't be dying just yet. Boy, he gonna die bad. Yeah. I shan't be dying just yet. You don't even know. He's got to be the one who dies, right? I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. And now he's just said that. And of course, like, his whole family's there. They know that some of them are not in the will. So, don't have high hopes for his future. Alright, I just realized that he was talking on the phone as they were walking into the room. So they weren't all in the room yet. And he had asked the butler to, like, make a loud noise before they got to the room to come in. So I'm pretty sure it's a fake out, and he wasn't actually talking to his lawyer, but that's kind of funny. I wonder if he's already changed his will, and they don't know it. I'm liking this one so far. I've already gone, like, I said it has 7 sections of it, and I had read 1 section already a couple of days ago. I'm already on section 3, so this may go a lot faster than I expected. I might finish it today, especially if it's going to be this interesting. And it's a lot of dialogue, and I like it when there's a lot of dialogue because that takes up more room on the page. Yeah, you can usually get through it a lot faster if it's just dialogue. So yay! I'm getting excited. What's going to happen? And the old man's dead. Surprise, surprise. Didn't see that one coming. Alright, so, I've just got to the part where they revealed who the killer was, and I had my suspicions about that person and, why they did it and everything. So, yeah, I've got about 4 pages left. I'm on the very last section of the book, so, yeah, it is like 9:16 p.m. right now, which means that I'm gonna finish this in 4 days. I'm going to be finished with the challenge, with the Reading Rush challenge. So, look at that. I did it. Except for, of course, that one, like, few pages of a chapter that I read in a different room. But, yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up, and that's going to be it. And then I'll get to choose the next book that I want to read. I'm not sure which one I'm going to choose yet. Got 2 more. So, yeah. Yay, I did it. So there you go. That was my stay-at-home reading rush. I will be talking very soon about the actual reading rush, which happens in July. So it's coming up real soon. It's coming up next week, actually, depending on when I actually get all of this edited. It may already be done. I don't know. But yeah, I'll talk about that in a different video. Hercule Poirot's Christmas by Agatha Christie. Okay, so the patriarch of the family invites all of his children for Christmas. They all show up and the old man gets murdered in a locked room. So who killed him? One of his 4 sons? One of their wives? His granddaughter? The son of his best friend in South Africa? The butler? The valet? Or none of them? It's up to Poirot to find out. Okay, so this was really weird because Christie was like dropping clues all over the place, and for once I was picking them up. So I figured out who the killer was. I did not figure out how the person did it, but I figured out who it was. Because, I mean, every time there was one little clue that she would drop, and I'm like, okay, does that mean this? I'm pretty sure that means this. And so... yeah, I figured out who it was, just didn't figure out how they did it. And honestly, when you find out how the person did it, I don't know how anyone could have figured it out. Oh, and we finally got one where the murderer does not commit suicide in the end, so that was nice. I mean, because for a while there, I really was wondering about what Agatha Christie was going through at this time in her life, because there was so much suicide. But not in this one, so that was nice. And although it takes place at Christmas, not really a lot of Christmas stuff in it, which was disappointing. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. Okay, so this was the reread of the month, and I've got it right here. Ta-da, there it is. So this is what I read aloud to Mark in May. Yep, we got all the way through it in 1 month. And then we started Order of the Phoenix in June, and it's July, and we're not even halfway through. So it's taken a while to get through that next one, but that's all right. We got plenty of time. All right, so while this one is not my favorite Harry Potter book, it's still fun, and it's also like the turning point where it starts getting darker after this one. I normally don't talk about these books when I go through these review kind of things, because I just imagine that everybody kind of knows what the books are about. Anyway, there's the Triwizard Tournament in this one, and Mark got so mad at me while I was reading this that he hung up on me. So let me set the scene for you. The Goblet of Fire has spit out the names of the 2 champions for the tournament from the other schools. Then the Flames spit out the name of the Hogwarts champion, and it for once is not Harry Potter, it's Cedric Diggory. And Mark is so excited. He's just flabbergasted. How are we going to do this whole thing without Harry being the main focus of the tournament? Because surely he would have been chosen, but he wasn't. And he was so excited. He was like, finally, Harry is not the focal point. And then suddenly everybody looks up, because the goblet spits out another name, and of course it's Harry Potter, and immediately, before I can even say Harry Potter, Mark knew, and he hung up on me. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it looked like this in his apartment.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And then he sent me a text message and told me that I need to rewrite the whole book, because that's not supposed to happen. And I said I couldn't, because I'm not the person who wrote it in the first place. Eventually, he did call me back and we continued with it. And he took every chance after that to diss Harry, which he's been doing for a while anyway. I also took some footage of me reading this aloud to him over the phone. So you can't hear him talking, but you can hear me reading and talking to him. And I may put that in here right now.
Oh, Harry freaking Potter! But he won't talk to us. All right.
It was as though someone invisible were trying to hold her back. Oh God. I can't remember Winky's voice. I know, I'm trying to think of Dobby's voice.
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts. There is bad wizards about.
That's good enough. Oh God, I gotta do her freaking voice again.
I is not doing it, sir.
Winky gasped.
I is not knowing how, sir.
You were found with a wand in your hand, barked Mr. Diggory, brandishing it in front of her, and as the wand caught the green light that was filling the clearing from the skull above, Harry recognized it. Hey, that's mine, he said. Dang it, Harry. Everyone in the clearing looked at him. Excuse me, said Mr. Diggory incredulously. That's my wand, said Harry. I dropped it. You dropped it? Repeated Mr. Diggory in disbelief. Is this a confession? You threw it aside after you conjured the mark? Amos, think who you're talking to, said Mr. Weasley very angrily. Is Harry Potter likely to conjure the dark mark?
What would he be doing? Conjuring a dark mark? That's it. That's absurd. That's insane. What you on about, Mr. Diggory?
Said Mr. Weasley. Winky trembled and shook her head frantically, her ears flapping, as Mr. Diggory raised his own wand again and placed it tip to tip with Harry's. Oh, Why? Why did you have to say tip to tip? Oh my God, stop it.
Okay, so the next book that I read in May was The Atlantis Gene by A.G. Riddle. Okay, so for this one, I'm definitely going to have to read the notes that I wrote down, because There was so much going on. So Kate is a scientist researching autism. She works in Indonesia, where she's doing her research on several Indonesian children. She finds out that the two she's been, I guess, experimenting on have suddenly developed signs that they're geniuses or something. It didn't really go into it that much. Anyway, she's at her lab early one morning with her assistant when a group of people break into the building, kidnap the children, kill her assistant, and knock her out. And she's arrested when the police arrive. Meanwhile, David is an intelligence officer for something called Clock Tower. It's hard to describe. I guess it's supposed to be kind of like CIA or something. Anyway, the whole organization has just been infiltrated by another secret organization, Imari. It gets really weird, real fast. David ends up rescuing Kate from jail, and they head off together, but they're attacked by Imari, who want Kate because only she knows the exact experiments she's done on the kidnapped children, and they need her to recreate it, because whatever she's done has helped the children survive some kind of radiation bomb or something. It made much more sense as I was reading it, I promise. So as they're trying to get away, Imari manages to kidnap Kate, so David goes to rescue her again. They get away and hide out for a while. There's just a lot of stuff going on in this book, and it's really hard to explain. But let's just say if you really like Dan Brown novels, or if you like action movies, this might be the kind of book for you, because it is like all action all the time. Until you get to like the middle of the book. And then suddenly they're just sitting in a monastery reading a diary from like 1918. Why? Oh my god, it's such a long section of the book, and they're just reading a diary. Anyway, I mean, it makes sense once you keep getting into the book why that story is important, but still. So yeah, there's a lot of action. There are bullets flying everywhere. These people are somehow surviving things that they should not be able to survive, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they make it they somehow make it out of everything. One thing that the author does that annoyed me to no end is he would introduce characters one character was alive for one chapter. At the end of the chapter, they die. It's like, why did you even do this? You could have thought of some other way to talk about this, because there's another character that sees all this other stuff happening. Why didn't you put it from that person's perspective? I don't understand. Anyway, you've got Nazis. You got a lot of evolution talk. You've got that whole section in the middle where they're in the monastery reading a diary, and they're just sitting there reading that while there are drones actively searching for them in the mountains, trying to kill them. It was real weird, guys. But strangely, I want to read the next one. It didn't put me off. I mean, I actually kind of liked it. So, I guess it was my kind of weird. I don't know. Oh, and also I have in my notes here, according to the book, Atlantean technology caused the Spanish flu in 1918 because it was caused by some kind of Atlantean radiation. And then guess what happens? There are a bunch of bodies in a Chinese facility where they have this same Atlantean technology, and they let it go off. And it kills a bunch of people, and they start shipping those bodies all over the world, and it creates a new pandemic. Wow, what a perfect book to be reading right now. And the next book is called The Atlantis Plague. Can't wait to get started. So the last book that I read in May was Before Ever After by Samantha Soto. It was alright, I guess. This one is about Shelley, whose husband, Max, died when a bomb exploded on a bus in Spain. 3 years after his death, Paolo knocks on her door, and he looks almost exactly like her dead husband. He claims to be Max's grandson, and he says he knows where Max is and asks her to go with him to help him find Max. So she does, but most of this book is set in the past when Shelley and Max first meet. So I think it's 7 years in the past when she met Max. She had just quit her job, and she was going on a guided tour through Europe. And Max was the tour guide. And there were other people on the trip with her. There was a gay couple, and there was an older couple, and then one guy by himself. Anyway, so throughout the trip, he takes them off the beaten path and tells the tour group tales of different people who lived in those places throughout history, which was pretty interesting. She only realizes on the plane with Paolo that the stories he told on that trip were about Max himself. Anyway, the stories were kind of interesting, so I didn't mind those. It went all the way back to the eruption of Vesuvius, so pretty cool. And I didn't mind Max's character, except for one thing. He referred to Shelley as love all the time. So I was pretty much done with that after the second time he did it. But it kept going. Basically, every other time that he talks to Shelley, he calls her love, and it's ridiculously annoying. Yeah, so that bothered me a lot. Also, I can totally see how Shelley would fall for Max. I mean, he's good looking. He knows a lot about history. He knows how to cook. But I do not see, out of all the women he's met in his long, long lifetime, he would want to settle down with her. I marked this part of the book because it was so ridiculous that I want to read this one little passage to you. Okay, here we go. Shelley's laugh followed its familiar trail up to her aquamarine eyes, flitted through her dark lashes, and settled where the almond slant of her eyelids met the faint crinkles above her golden cheeks. This was the point where most people caught their breath and wondered from which continent she could have been so magnificently misplaced. Shelley was oblivious to the serendipity of her curious beauty, and a lifetime on the receiving end of this involuntary half-gasp had left her convinced that everyone she knew was asthmatic. Because people gasp every time they see how beautiful she is. That she's like, oh my god, everybody must have asthma. I wish that Shelley had been in Herculaneum with Max so that she could have died in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Because I can't stand her. Okay, she's not as bad as that character from that book that I really hated, but she's up there. She's up there pretty high. She passes out several times in the book. I was kind of worried about her health and wondering why no one was calling a doctor, because she passes out at least 4 times in the whole book. This is not that long of a book. Why is this woman passing out all the time? Anyway, I didn't really like it that much, and the ending was a little bit ambiguous, which is not really something I like for my romance novels, but I also didn't hate it. Anyway, I had a lot to catch up on, but that's all of this one. Yay! I'll see you guys in the next video where I will be talking about what I read in June, which is going to be very short because I didn't read much at all.